A very good morning to everyone. I welcome you everyone for the final day of the workshop. At the end of the workshop, you'll be given an assessment link. You can find the assessment link in the description box of the day 5 workshop. Please fill in the assessment link and also the feedback link. So 2 links you have to fill. So once you fill the feedback form, you'll be getting your e-certificate. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Satish. Good morning, everyone. Apologies for the late. So, I hope we had a good learning for the last 4 days, and we will continue for the same as today as well. As Satish mentioned, I will create an assessment link for you using SurveyMonkey, which you will be using to post your answers based on the learning what we have had for last 4 days. I have not covered anything for the day 5, so I just covered for the last 4 days in the questionnaire section. And in terms of review, we will have something for last 5 minutes where you can able to provide your review by using your any mobile devices or any of the devices which you are using. So it will be an interactive session for the last 5 minutes. So I hope everyone is learning well, and I hope everyone will be connecting the same for today as well. So without any delay, we will proceed with today's session. I'm just sharing my screen. Okay, I hope everyone can able to see my screen.
Yes, great.
Okay. Yeah, till yesterday, what we have seen is how to understand an RPA and what are the different programming languages to use. As it is a low-code, no-code platform, still we'll be using minor programming language stuffs. Either it may be a Python, or it may be a VB.NET, or it may be a C#, as well as based on the process requirement, we'll be using some other programming languages like macro, VB-script, and even the DBMS concept of SQL Server as well. So those are the concepts which we learned on day 1. In terms of day 2, we have just provided an overview of UiPath Studio, and we have gone through multiple panels, and we have played around those panels just to understand what is the purpose of each of the funnel and why each of the panel is more important and what information it provides to us. So what kind of feature it has in terms of each of this panel. Then the third day, we have just covered an use case on Windows and web-based automation, and we have tried to scrap an element, and we find it was more realistic in nature, and it has been working more effectively because I created a piece of code by which I can able to leverage as an automation in multiple different places. So in yesterday's session, we have just explored what is the component we have in terms of UI Explorer, and what is the use of object or repository, and how a reusable component can be created, and how we can able to debug our code, and what is the exception mechanism we have. So far we have covered an end-to-end module of how to create a project and how to handle the exception of your project. Today we will be speaking something about how to maintain your project as well as how to publish your project to your orchestrator or to the real world so that everyone can able to use it. So the first point we will be speaking about the publishing of an use case. Then next point, what is the use of UiPath Assistant? So far we have learned only about UiPath Studio. So we will be having some glimpse of UiPath Orchestrator as well as UiPath Assistant, just to understand the bondage between both of this application, both of this application along with the UiPath Studio as well. So then the next part we'll be looking around how to create an asset, and what is the importance of it, and why we need to create an asset, and what are the different types of assets available in it. So these are the topics we will be using, and I will produce some small use case at the end by which we will picturize an end-to-end project, by which we will be picturizing an end-to-end project, and I will throw you some insights on RE framework, which is called Robotic Enterprise Framework. I will be providing you some example of RE framework. So this framework will be used by all the developers who is using API Studio. It is the mandate one whenever they have been going on with the code review kind of stuffs, or whenever they are creating some enterprise related solution for any enterprise. If they have been using API Studio as their RPA platform, then the project has to be built and delivered using RA framework, because it provides tons of feature and they have designed it more effectively, and it will act as a template. So I will just give you some insights on RA framework, how to open it, what are the components it has. What we used to call it as a stages. We have multiple transitions happening over there, and I will provide some examples out of it. So this is the plan for today. So hope everyone is very eager to learn all these concepts. Okay, the first point is publishing a package. So in order to publish a package, we will open any one of the existing projects which we have done. So this is one of the existing projects which we have created so far, and okay, uploaded everything here. I will make a minor change in terms of open if not opened. So if the project is not open, then the URL will get launched and it will provide its username and password. Then it will click on its submit button. So this is one of the project. I'm just saving a project. If you see, there is an activity called publish here. And before that, you can able to see something called remove unused variables. So in your project, if you have been creating tons of variables, you would have been creating at least 15 to 30 variables based on your project requirement. It is the minimum one. Maximum you can go around up to 100 variables based on your requirement. So in some cases, you feel that some of the variables is not used. It will be very hard for you to identify those variables and to remove it. So before you publish any of your project, as per the best practices, as per the developer best practices, it is advised to remove the unused variables and arguments if there is any. And you can able to play around the workflows and dependencies, but if the workflows is not used, then you will remove it automatically by yourself. So those kind of scenarios won't happen. But in terms of variables and arguments, yes, it is a possible one by which you can able to remove the unused one. It would have been created by you long back. As the project development progress, right, you would have not been using those variables. So in those scenarios, you can able to use these two options just to remove an variable. What will happen? So for example, just I'm creating some sample variables here, as we don't have any variable here. Sample 1, sample 2. So these are my two variables which has been created within the scope of try catch. So we will use a message box. At the end, just to show you the text message of sample 1. So this is the first activity which I used, and I have assigned my variable. This variable will not have any value, so I am providing some default value here. Login success. So I have not used sample2 in my program in any of the places. If I am using remove unused variables, it will go through your entire project and it will identify the complete set of details. If you expand the detail section, it will show you what are the variables which is not used in your project? What are the variables which is not used in your project? So you can directly click on OK, by which those variable will get erased automatically. Those variable will get erased automatically. Okay, this is one of the best practice what we have. So one more best practice which I thought of saying you. Today I have created a variable as sample one. After 5 days, I feel the sample one doesn't provide enough information. So I thought of changing this variable name into its for its respective usage. So I'm just making a change in my variables panel. Login information. So I've just renamed it to login information. Once I done this, you can able to see automatically it got reflected in the place wherever I have used it. In few IDEs of Python and Java, we have those functionality. Whenever you changing a variable name where it has been declared, like we will be declaring the variable name in the top of the program, right? Whenever you declared it, and if you have been changing it, your IDE will sense and it will highlight automatically in the subsequent place where those variables has been used, and it will change automatically. In the same way, we have those functionality in our UiPath Studio as well. So you should not worry about in changing your variable name. You should not worry about in changing your variable name. Okay. This is one of the stuff we used to do, and we will go on with publish operation. So I just clicked on my publish. It will ask me to provide the package name. Yeah, by default it will take the project name, so there is no required to change anything. And we have multiple versioning systems here. We can able to provide your version number as per your need, but it will provide you the version number as per the record which it has. So as per the record which it has. So I'm not making any change. I'm just adding it as a pre-release. So it will have some information like this: 1.0.2 alpha. Package icon is not recommended one. If you want to create some package and if you want to reuse it, yeah, you can able to upload your own icon if you have those. It is advised to provide the release note information. Release notes is nothing but what are the components you have done and for which you have been deploying or for which you have been publishing it at your control. So I'm just providing basic login information of admin systems. So this is the release notes I have provided. Based on the use case I have automated here, and I will be going on to the next page. In the next section, you will be seeing something called publish to. In publish to, if you click on the drop down where it was not working yesterday, right? You can able to see something called tenant workspace, personal workspace, and custom. The tenant workspace is nothing but if you have been working as an organization, then there will be a tenant. Within that tenant, you can able to perform all kind of operation based on your rules, based on the rules which is defined to you. As we have been using the community edition, here we don't have any tenant concept as it will be a default tenant always. So it is advised to use the personal workspace. Okay, what is custom here? In terms of custom, we can able to save our project in our local folder. We can able to save our project in our local folder, but maintaining any version and running those bots from the local is not possible. It will just create a package and it will provide those information into our local system. So now we will deploy it in our personal workspace, and then I will show you how to create a package in our local system. Then if we have been deploying the same project again and again multiple times, it was advised to remove the unused dependencies. So you would have added some dependencies. Dependency is nothing but your packages which you have imported in your project section using the manage package. So if you have been removing the unused dependencies, the unnecessary package won't be uploaded. Unnecessary packages won't be uploaded, by which your project file will be a lightweight file. By which your project file will be a lightweight file. Say for it will be around 1 or 2 MB. Not much. So if you have been using multiple packages in your project panels, then the size of our project will increase gradually. So I just removed the unused dependencies and I'm clicking on next. So this is an additional information. Yeah, if we have been working in enterprise model, give me a minute. Yeah, I am back. If we have been working in an enterprise model, yeah, definitely we'll be getting this information. We will be getting all this certificate information where it will provide an additional security to the file which we have uploaded to our orchestrator. So in this case, we don't have any of those information. I'm just clicking on publish. So it will check for all of the components as well as it will remove the unused dependencies. Then it will create a package. Then it will get uploaded into our orchestrator. So in the meanwhile, right, I've just opened the orchestrator page here. So this is our home page for cloud automation. In this, we will be seeing a grid here. If we expand that, you can able to see the orchestrator logo or the orchestrator section. So if you click on the orchestrator, it will route your information based on the access which we have to the orchestrator page. Everything is based on single sign-on. So whatever username or password which you have used for automation cloud, it will be used to your orchestrator as well. So this is the tenant. As I said, it's a cloud. It will be having the default information. So I am not using this. This is my workspace. Which is allocated by UiPath orchestrator for my usage. If you see something called process here, processes, I am just clicking on the processes. Right now, we have one process which is called Acme system, and there is a version called 1.0.2 alpha. Because this is a version just I have uploaded. If you see, there is an info which is populated to us after a successful upload of a project. After successful upload of a project, you can able to see project published successfully, and this is my project name, Acme system. What is the version? If you click on details, you will get a secondary set of information which we won't be using much, but these are the different packages which has been uploaded into our orchestrator or to our control room. So here we have all this information. If you want to copy this into the clipboard, yes, we can able to do this, where it will allow you to copy this 3 line item, name and version of the package. So just to visualize what has happened in the orchestrator. The orchestrator end, in the processes section, you can able to see your process. In the process section, you can able to see your process, as well as you can able to see the versioning of your project. So what is the use of versioning? Say for example, today I have just uploaded my project. After 5 days, I made multiple enhancements, then I am uploading my project. So for each upload, there will be a version attached to the project, by which whenever you have been running a project from your orchestrator, it will run the respective version. It will run the respective version. I will show how it will be done. So in order to visualize, we can click on this three dots here. We have an option to edit. Now it will move on to process and edit Acme systems. So here we have something called package versioning. If you see the default version, the earlier one which I uploaded is 1.0.1. Just few minutes back I have uploaded this 1.0.2 alpha. So if I want to roll back to the previous version, yes, it is possible. I can able to select my previous version and I can able to roll back. Whenever I roll back it, the next time when I trigger this bot from the orchestrator, it will run its respective package. It will run the package to which I have rolled back. Just assume if you have multiple version in your project and you identified that the current version is not working as expected, so you thought of rollbacking to the previous version. Yeah, we can able to get it done using your orchestrator window, using your orchestrator page, by which you can able to go back to the previous version. The best example as a real-time one, right? We will be receiving multiple updates to the application whichever we have been using so far. Like either it may be a Gmail app or your WhatsApp or your Facebook. If the developer feels there was some major bug in the release what it has happened in the Play Store, they will revert those changes immediately. In the real-time mode. Same way, in RPA platform as well, we have the concept to revert those changes to the previous version or to the N version which is working as per your expectation. So those is possible. Yeah, those we have seen multiple times in the real world scenario as well. Yeah, it will be more helpful whenever you have been building up any projects. So I'll just set to the new version because we have used some variables and some message boxes. I'm not doing anything, so I'm clicking on cancel, new page, no changes record. So now in order to run my process, there is something called start button here. I'm clicking on start, and here we can able to select the machines which is allocated. So I'm just selecting the machine, the workspace which is connected to my user profile, and this name is created whenever I am logging into the system automatically. Then the machine which is connected here. So this is the machine information which I have provided. Then I can click on start. Okay, right now those privileges has not been enabled because of the limitation in terms of licenses. So what we can do, right? We can able to see those information here. Whatever changes I have done in my orchestrator will get automatically reflected into my automation section. If you see here, there is a project get deployed. I'm just clicking on this run button. You can able to see it will start its process from here. Earlier we have used our studio to run the project. Now we have published the project into our orchestrator. From orchestrator, we have been running a project. Directly from the orchestrator, I could not able to test it because of the limitations which we have in the cloud platform. So I just use the UiPath Assistant. UiPath Assistant is nothing but it will continuously connect with the orchestrator to pull all the information, which it has. So if you see, I just initiated my process. It is installing the package which is required for the bot to run. Now the job is about to start. Yeah, it gets started. If you see in the backend, just launched the URL and it has provided the username and password. It clicked on login button. Now it has to provide me the message box which I have captured. It has to provide me the message box which I have captured. If you click on the UiPath Assistant, So you can get the message like this is a step-by-step information, right? What we have, like package installation is done, job processing is started after a second, and it is the total time it has been executing around 53 seconds. Now I'm clicking on OK, by which my job will get stopped automatically. Because we came to the end of the process, here we have one more message box at the finally as well, because we have used the trackers. If you see, this is the information at an eye level. At an eye level, what we got using our UiPath assistant. Just assume you have been into some front office kind of stuff, where you will be performing multiple different operations and you will be providing multiple approvals, and you need some piece of automation to be executed based on your own requirement, Then in those scenarios, you will be getting access to only to your UiPath assistant, only to the UiPath assistants, by which you can open your UiPath assistant, and you can able to see what are the projects which has been deployed in the orchestrator, and if you want to run any process, you can just select those process and you can able to click on the run button, by which it will get executed in your local machine, which is nothing but an attended automation. So it is the major feature of an UiPath assistant, and it will give you the complete set of information. And if you see, the last run time is 3 minutes ago. If you want to rerun it, yes, we can able to rerun the bot, and we can able to configure those steps as well. Right now it is not possible, so I'm not doing anything in this section now. So if you see the recent run as well as history, it will show you what are the times it get executed and how much time it took to complete this process execution. So I got those information in my UiPath assistant. Whether I will get those information into my orchestrator or not. Okay, I'm just going to my workspace. Here, whenever you have been performing some execution, you will be getting those execution results here. We will try one more time just to trigger my process. We'll see. Animation start. Okay. Job priority is slow. Development. This is my workspace. Automation. Okay. As we don't have any unattended license associated with my profile, I could not able to trigger from my orchestrator. Unattended license connected runtime server only one. Start. No way. Perfect. Yeah, not an issue so far. Not progressing fine. Okay, what is the next step what we have in the plan? Today we will be seeing something called asset here. Asset which is available only in orchestrator. It is not available in your UiPath Studio or in your UiPath Assistant. What is asset? Asset is nothing but a store where you can able to store all your confidential information. Say for example, the application which I used, right, the Acme system, where I have used my username and password, and I have hard-coded those information in the portal, hard-coded my information into my workspace where I have developed my code. In order to store my credential as a secured one, we need to create as a asset into my asset section. If you want to create some other stuffs. If you want to create some other stuffs like some reusable values like the email ID, where you'll be having a centralized mailbox, like a shared mailbox. Whenever a bot is executed, we want to send out an email notification to the shared mailbox. So in those scenarios, the email ID will be captured in the centralized mailbox, and those email ID can be used on the go. So in order to create an email ID, we'll be using once again the asset. If you want to store some of your process related information like URL of the application or any other stuffs, yes, we can able to create those assets. This assets plays a vital role in terms of security. So I will show you how to create an asset and what are the types of asset. Okay, if you see, we have an option to link from other folders. We don't have any folder structure here, so it is not possible. So I'm just clicking on create a new asset. So in terms of creating a new asset, we will be having the asset name and the type. Type is nothing but the data type of the asset. Here we have 4 types, which is text, boolean, integer, and credential. We can store anything as a text. If it is a boolean value like a true or false, we can able to store it separately. If it is an integer values, then you can able to create separately. For credentials, yes, it is advised to go with credential because it will contain your username and password information. So I'm just going to click on my asset name. In my asset name section, I am providing in the scenario Acme login. So this is not a text, it is a credential once again. So I need to provide my username and password here. So just for the use case 123 at xyz.com. This is my email ID, just a sample scenario. Here we will provide the password 123456. So this is the password. If you see, password has been set to hidden, by which we cannot be able to see automatically. This is the importance of an asset by which we can able to create a credential, and you can able to create multiple assets as per your need. But within credential, you cannot be able to create multiple credentials. You can able to create only one credential by which we can able to provide only one username and password. So it is advised to give a description, login info for Acme portal. Then click on create. Yeah, Google has identified that it is very easy to crack. Still, I am clicking on OK. You can able to see there was an asset which is created and the description, and it is of type credential, and this is the value. So if I want to view the information, I can able to click something on edit. Here you can able to view the username, but you cannot able to view the existing password. The existing password will be stored in a 256-bit encrypted manner. It will get encrypted and it will get stored into the database which sits at the backend to store all of your information. It will get stored into your UiPath database in an encrypted manner. There is multiple ways to decrypt it, and it provides a high level security in order to ensure that none of your username and password get exposed to the real world scenario. So it is how it was stored at runtime. If you get those information, we will get the username and password, but in orchestrator, once you create any asset of type credential, whenever you have been reopening it, you cannot be able to see those password. It is not like a say Google passwords where we can able to save all kind of passwords, right? It won't be like that stuff. It is a one-time operation. And the next time, either you can able to update any of the password and click on update. Otherwise, you need to click on the cancel. So it is like in the additional security what they have provided to this. So I'm just clicking on cancel. Right now, I'm not making any change. Well, what is the next step? We'll click on create new asset, and I will be providing some centralized email ID. So this is one of my asset name, and asset is a email. So I'm just going with the text. Text is nothing but a string. Group mailbox. So here I'm just providing a asset value. Asset value, we will have something like CSE department at googlegroups.com. So I clicked on create, by which my asset information gets stored, and I can able to use it whenever it is required. I can able to use it whenever it is required in my code. So this is an asset section, and it is very, very important whenever you have been creating a project. Sorry. And it is advised to store all your confidential information in the format of credential and global information in terms of text, integer or boolean. Global information in terms of text, integer or boolean. Yeah, if you have been working as an enterprise, I mentioned like tenant will be enabled. You will be working on a specific tenant, and whatever information which you have in that single tenant cannot be shared across multiple tenant. Tenant is nothing but a box which you can able to create within your UiPath orchestrator. So you can be able to create multiple box, and each box there can be a set of developers who can work. Say for example, tenant A, tenant B, tenant C. In tenant A, 5 members can be a developer who will be working in tenant A, and they can able to create multiple assets, multiple process they can deploy, and they can trigger multiple requests on the code. In tenant B, there may be 2 developers who can work on a specific use case, but they could not able to see any of the information which tenant A has uploaded into the orchestrator, where they could not able to see any of the information. It is like a wall, or it is like a room where a specific operation can be performed within the room, and it's completely based on the roles and responsibilities which they have, and how the roles has been defined in the UiPath orchestrator. So it is one of the components which you need to know about. So the next one is nothing but an RE framework. In order to go to my RE framework, I will open a fresh project. Here, if you see, I'm just going to my home page, where you can able to see something called new from template. In new from template, we have something called robotic enterprise framework. By short, it will be called as RE framework. RE for Royal Enfield. So I'm just clicking on this. It will take some time. It will load all the basic information, and it will give you a new area to work. Workshop. It's up to you how to name your project and how to provide your description. I'll just add a workshop keyword to my project name. It will take some time because it will download multiple dependencies from backend, and it will download the respective template out of it. And this template plays a vital role because it will have multiple stages, and there will be multiple transition happening. So I will just give you a glimpse of how a project can be fitted into this frame, and this framework has been used by all the industries who are using UiPath Studio, and it was a global practice as well. It is about to complete. because the workspace is getting created now. So whenever we create a normal process, right, we won't be having any of this component like this. We won't be having any of this component like this. So whenever you have been creating an RE framework kind of stuffs, we will be getting all of these frameworks. We will be getting all of these components within this framework. So just to give you a glimpse, what it is, what the messy stuff they have done. Here you can able to see something called a flow chart. They have used something called flow chart here. Everything begins from start icon and it will move in multiple stages. As I explained you for in Fibonacci series where I have not used any loops, just an arrows to connect between multiple stages. So this is my first stage, which is called initialization. Then it will move on to the next state or next stage called get transaction data. So here it can able to provide me two set of result. One is successful, one is system exception. System exception is nothing but your launch of an URL. Whenever you have been launching some URL, if it is a server down or the website is completely down or the website is in the maintenance mode, right? So those kind of scenarios will be getting for all kind of application. In real time scenario is the announced result page. On the result day, it will get crashed all of a sudden and it will go to the maintenance mode or the entire server will down within 1 or 2 hours because of the unnoticed load by all of the candidates at a time. So it is how it will be. If it is success, it will directly move on to the success stage. If it is a system exception, that it will go to end process stage. So the first one, initialization, what we will done, we will just read the configuration information, we will just read the asset information and we will launch the respective application, whatever it is required for my project to proceed. Then we will move on to the get transaction data. If you have been working based on transaction is nothing but you will be getting a data either in an Excel or in a CSV or in a database where you need to process each line item or where you need to process each rows or where you need to process each record. So in order to process each record, each row from a CSV or an Excel file, those basic information we will be getting from get transaction data. Those information we will be getting from get transaction data. Once the get transaction data, a successful data has been pulled from the respective queue or from your respective Excel file or from the CSV or from database, then it will move on to the process transaction. Process transaction is a stage where you will be performing all kind of process on your application. So here we have two endpoints. One is if there is a new transaction or a new line item to process, then it will go to process transaction. If there is no data, then it will move on to your end process stating that you have completed your project end to end without any error. For each line item, you have processed it successfully and you have given some result out of it. So in the transaction stage, we will be getting 3 different results and it provides multiple operations to be performed. Okay, what is my first result? In terms of my first result, it will be a success case. It will be a success case. Just to expand this one. So I'm just moving it bit away so that everyone can able to understand the line items, how it has been populated. Okay, I hope it's very clear now. The first line item, what it does flow, right? It is a success. If every operation has been completed successfully, then it will go on to the get transaction data to get the next line item which is available to process. If there is no line item, it will go to the end stage. Okay, the next one is the business exception. It is something called a rule-based exception. Say, for example, you have your candidate information in order to get the result, exam result. The mandatory information is your registration number and your date of birth. If the registration number is not available in the Excel file, if the registration number is not available in the Excel file, then it is a business exception, because without my registration number I could not able to pull my data. So it will be a exception in terms of rule based. If we have the registration number and if we have the date of birth, but whenever I am providing those information into my application, if I am getting an error message, right, like the roll number and the date of birth provided is not matching, then it will move to the exception stage once again, because the information what you provide is incorrect to the system. So it is once again a business exception, because the information what you feed into the system is incorrect. It is not the data which is saved in the system. So those were the system exception. So for a specific line term, if there is system exception, sorry, if there is a rule-based business exception, then there is no point of proceeding further. So we will move on to the next transaction. If there is some system bug, like the application is down all of a sudden, or if you provide your valid username, sorry, valid registration number and valid date of birth, but still the application is not responding, or the application is throwing some other error information, or the application is providing some weird behavior, then we will move to system exception. Then it will move to the system exception, by which all the initialization part will get executed again, and where we will be closing all the application and we will be relaunching the application, as well as we will be reading all the configurational information, and we will take the necessary data out of it. If it is successful, it will proceed further. So it will be like a looping structure, where you can able to place your code in an effective way, and where you can able to achieve all your operation in a more reusable way. So it provides the best component in order to perform your try principle, as well as it provides the best error handling mechanism as well. It provides the best error handling mechanism as well. So it is one of the important component which you need to learn whenever you have been planning to step your career into the RPA world, either by using automation or UiPath or Blue Prism. But you need to know how these stages has been designed, how it has been working upon. So it is one of the components. Even you can able to create a project out of it, and you can have it in your final year project, or in your 7th sem project as well. So it will be more useful when you play around this framework, right? It will provide you lot of feature by which you can able to learn how a real-time project has been built, where you'll be creating multiple class file, multiple methods within that class, and you'll be integrating with, and you'll be playing around it. Same kind of stuffs can be done using our framework as well. Same kind of stuffs can be done using the framework as well. Yeah, just to give an additional glimpse of what is the information we have. If I expand my project section, where I will be getting all my informations, right? Here you can able to see something called main XAML. Main XAML is nothing but this one, and we'll be having some additional information like the data, where we need to place all our inputs, outputs, and some temporary data whichever it is required. So it has created the entire project setup for you. So whatever input we receive by accessing some application, or from a Excel source, or from some other source, it is advised to place all those inputs into our input folder. Whenever you have been processing, you can place those files into the temporary folder. When the output is generated, you can place those output into your output section. That is possible already. And If you want to create some documentation for your project, like the readme file which you see for all the packages, right? If you want to also those documentation, yes, it is advised to place all those documentation into this project folder. Then comes the test case scenario. If you want to create some test case scenario, yes, you can able to create those test case scenario and you can able to place us in the test section. And if you see the framework, and this framework provides multiple reusable projects, multiple reusable code snippet kind of stuff, like where you can able to close all application and where you can initialize all your settings and where you can able to take a screenshot. Those kind of stuffs it provides us a reusable stuffs. Then comes the exception screenshot. If you want to have some screenshots whenever there is an exception occurred, it is advised to capture those screenshots and place those information into this folder, so that it is a template created by the development team for all the developers in the world who are using it. So say for example, one of the student has created a project out of this framework. After 5 years, I'm going to take care of this project. Then I can able to easily identify what are the components he has used and where is my input, where will be my output, how the operation will flow across, and if there is some error, I will be directly pitching into the respective stage, and in that stage I will get the fix applied. So it is how the project has to be designed. What we have seen so far is a normal methodology just to perform the proof of concept or other kind of stuff. Whenever you have been working as an enterprise developer or you have enrolled into any of your organization, then it is advised to go with the framework to build a project out of it. I hope it gives you a fair understanding of what is RE framework. I feel that you will be exploring more on all of these concepts which we have learned so far. Covered everything what we have planned and what we have discussed so far. So we will open up for queries for 5 minutes.
Sure.
Yeah.
Students, make use of this opportunity because this is the last session. So if you have any queries related to the topic or else off the topic about the company that you wanted to ask, you can ask. And post session, you'll be having the feedback link and the assessment link. It will be posted in the description box of the day 5 session. You can also attend that. Now it is enabled. Yes. So it's open for questions now.
Team, kindly come up with the queries what we have based on the learning what we had for the last 4 days. Even though I have not received much question from your end, I am looking for a few questions at least today. Team, kindly come up with the queries what we have, whether you understood or not. That is my first question. Okay. Is Studio alone is enough for all kind of your RPA projects, sir? Okay, Studio is a part of UiPath. UiPath is a company and they have created the UiPath Studio. Using the UiPath Studio, yes, we can able to create all kind of projects If we want to use some external components like machine learning, artificial intelligence, where if you want to integrate with the chat GPT, those kind of stuffs, we need to use some additional integration services. We need to use some additional integration services. Those integration services will also sit in your UiPath Studio alone. UiPath Studio is a component, but if you want to use some external extension or external services kind of stuffs, we need to integrate that and we can able to use it. To answer your question to more process, yes, we can able to create all kind of projects using UiPath Studio itself. I hope it has answered your query, Tarun. Students, please come up with other questions as well. What we have based on the learning, what we had for the last few days. Yeah, welcome, Tarun. Team, any other questions from anybody?
Bhaskar, I think there is no questions.
Okay, Satish.
Okay, thank you.
sir,
Thank you so much, Bhaskar. I think
Sorry,
we can wind up the session. Yes.
Yeah, before we wind up, I have some survey from my end, so that whoever available they can answer from their end itself. Just a few minutes away. I'm just resharing my screen once again. You can provide your valuable feedbacks. Whoa. Yeah, Tim, this is a survey link for the session. I'm just posting those link in the chat as well. Yeah, just launch this URL which I provided in the chat. Otherwise, you can type minty.com ALPMM to EDCQZU. We'll have some 1 or 2 questions. You can submit your votings. I hope everyone will be doing it. Sir, I provided the link from SurveyMonkey for the quiz. I created 2 set of quiz. I request everyone to complete both of this quiz model.
Okay.
Once if you provide the confirmation, I will provide you the results.
Okay, sure. Thank you so much, Bhaskar.
Okay.
Thank you so much for your efforts on the day for the past 5 days. Thank you. I hope the students would have got some knowledge about RPA, a new concept. Once again, on behalf of Panimal Engineering College Management, Principal, HODs, and staff members, and on behalf of coordinators, Dr. Puvenendi sir, Mr. Raji sir, I thank our resource person and our students for constantly watching the sessions, and hope it will be benefited. And soon we'll be having our guest, Mr. Bhaskaran, in offline in our college. Thank you, Bhaskar.
Yeah, thank you, Satish.
Thank you.
Thank you, team, for all your patience for the last 5 days. It was a great session so far. Hope everyone has learned much, so that you will be exploring more on the same areas, so that I can able to see some of the RPA developers in the future for my same team as well. Hope you have a great day as well as great learning so far. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Satish. The entire team was organized this event so well. Yeah, definitely we will meet offline one day in the college premises, so that we will discuss more on what is RPA and where we have been heading towards the technologies, and how we need to upskill ourselves, and what is the curriculum we need to learn apart from the college, apart from the semester kind of stuff, so we can able to improve and we can able to scale up ourselves in those areas. Yeah, definitely we will meet up as Satish mentioned, and we will discuss further. Yeah, thank you, Satish. Thank you, entire team, once again. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot.